How's it going, everybody? If you clicked on this review, then hopefully you have seen the Avengers Infinity War.
See the movie, then watch.
Then watch it. And that, if you haven't, tough nuggets? Sure.
Yeah, tough nuggets,
tough
guys.
Nuggets. It's time
Tough
to
big
talk
nuggets.
about the movie in depth.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to talk about, Mark. We had 230, 240, whatever this movie was. And it is just full. It's you know right away that they have to pack a lot of stuff in just from the sheer amount of characters that are in the movie. And it starts off, they're like, well, how are they going to establish that Thanos is a badass? And they take us right away from where the ending of Thor Ragnarok was, that something is approaching them. We know what it is. It's Thanos' ship. And he basically, he wrecks everything. He kills Loki. He's, the Hulk comes out and he's like, we have a Hulk, and Loki throws that line back in.
It was a cool
nice
moment.
throwback.
And then they did like what Hulk did to Loki, Thanos did to Hulk, and I thought that was a nice, a nice announcement of a character's arrival.
Well, it was right away when it was almost like that moment in Rocky 3 when Rocky is kicking Clubber's ass in that first
58 seconds into the vid.
In the first round of their first fight, Rocky's kicking his ass, and it's like, oh, okay, it's not going to be much of a fight. And then it's that, and his buddy and Thanos' friend says, let him have his fun.
Yeah.
And then
I like my asshole squeezed. You didn't even know that, but I was like, I got a little nervous. I started sweating when Thanos which that guy was great, by the way. His hand person was like, let him have it. I was like, how powerful is this guy that you are gonna just take some punches from the Incredible Hulk, and you're just gonna be like,
he bitched the Hulk so bad the Hulk didn't want to come back for the rest of the movie.
That was a cool subplot where it was almost like the Hulk, as all men of Mark Ruffalo's age or even our age that we're approaching are going to deal with at some point. He kind of had Hulk ED. He just couldn't get that Viagra to summon all of the green stuff. He was trying so hard, and then was like, honey, let's try again in 15 minutes, and we ran out of screen time.
I love that he's having this battle with Hulk because they're on the same page. Because remember when the Hulk first started, he didn't want the Hulk to come out at all, and now he's kind of trying to summoning him and trying to help him because they had this relationship in Thor Ragnarok to where Hulk was the one that was out for years, and now he doesn't want to come out because he got his ass kicked so badly. That's going to be another recurring storyline as we get to the second part of this thing.
And when the Hulkbuster's arm got ripped off at the end, I was like, okay, here comes Hulk.
I like that they didn't bring him back. I like that he just was like, no, and he wouldn't come out. And it's like, because they teased us in that trailer, you see him running, and they never used that shot. It was BS. It's very similar to kind of the reverse of what they did for Civil War when they didn't show Spider-Man in that shot. They took him out. I thought it was smart. I thought it was good marketing. But that's just the beginning of the film. That's the first 5 minutes.
It's just the first 5 minutes. And what I really loved about this movie's opening is after that, obviously that announcement scene, is when we got to see Tony Stark and Doctor Strange and Wong, and then Ruffalo joins. I loved watching that chemistry gel on the streets of New York and watching them battle. I like the reluctant team up of the meeting of the minds between Tony and Doctor Strange, and then Spider-Man comes into the mix, and it was just so much coming at me. I was just so enthralled and enjoying the action so much, and I found it to be, that was the scene where I was like, this movie is going to be a lot funnier than people thought it was going to be coming in, because there was a lot of action, there was a lot of doomsday, there was a lot of quick flying one-liners.
You know what's funny? I think I've come to think that Marvel's always going to have humor into it. I just get nervous sometimes depending on how much of it and when it's sprinkled in, because there were a couple times throughout this movie that I was like, okay, the jokes are funny, but I thought they were like I don't know if we necessarily need this many, because
did you get that with Spider-Man and Tony, or was that primarily with the I think the Guardians?
My main Drax was my biggest issue, and not that at first I was like, what are you talking about? He was hysterical. He was hysterical. He was really funny.
You just wanted to be a behemoth,
but not just the problem that and this is a bigger issue down the line, but Drax to me in the first Guardians movie was naive, funny, but naive, and had a storyline that kind of combined. In the second movie, he's just a joke, and he's more of an imbecile, and he's pretty dumb. And in this movie, he's dumb, and he's just there for jokes again, all funny jokes. But anyway, point is, I agree with you that when the humor was happening, it was moving, it was working well, like the stuff between Tony and, because that was always the talk, was that Tony and Doctor Strange are kind of like the same person in a certain aspect. To see them together, and then to see Tony kind of drop a little bit when he sees Banner, and he's just like, where you been? Because they haven't seen him in like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, Tony having the flip phone, the fact that he looks at Steve Rogers, that was a really funny moment.
Why did Tony have the flip phone again?
Huh?
Why did Tony have the flip phone?
I just think it's kind of like a a joke that he's got like he's this
I didn't
technology
understand
guy,
that,
but he
yeah.
just has the flip phone. But he flips it open, and then when they go to outer space, I did love the Spider-Man callback to the Empire Strikes Back joke, that really old movie Aliens. And because I was thinking about Aliens, I haven't seen that movie as much as I've seen Empire. I knew exactly what they were going for in Empire, and I'm like, what are they going with? And then when he shoots him out I thought that was so cool. I was smiling ear to ear for the bulk of the first 30 to 40 minutes. And there is already a big emotional connection as far as Tony's personal life goes, because he's just walking in the park with Pepper and they're talking about having kids. Next thing you know, he's right back into it, and she ain't going to be happy about it.
I like that moment a lot with Pepper on the phone with him, and you hear her kind of breaking up because
it was like their relationship.
When we went into this movie, and everybody did in the whole theater, but we were like, okay, in top form, from top 1 to 3, who's going to die?
Mr. Vegas over here, before the movie starts, he's just tapping people on the shoulder. Hey, you get 3 people.
Yep.
And who did you say?
My 3, I only got 1 out of the 3. My 3 were at the top one was Captain America.
Yeah.
He did not die.
Yeah.
Then there was Loki, was my number 2, and he did die. And then number 3 was Hawkeye. He's not in the movie.
Yeah, you got on the board early.
Yeah.
I had who did I have?
You had Iron Man as number 1.
I had Iron
Man. And the
Man.
reason I brought that up is because when that Pepper Potts thing happened with him on the phone, I was like, holy crap, Ellis might be right here. They might take Tony out. And then when we
I
get
thought
to
I was right before the movie started.
Oh, because of the speech.
Yeah,
Downey
because they
did a
had the
big
whole
speech,
cast,
yeah.
and Downey's giving the speech, and I'm thinking this is a very similar thing to, hopefully you've seen this movie too, or that's a spoiler, is Last Jedi with Mark Hamill and everybody celebrating the return of Luke Skywalker, and then right before the movie starts, you're like, are we celebrating the return of Luke Skywalker a little too much, because this is the last time we ever get to see him?
Well, yeah, I don't think that's another story. Anyway, point is that he has he's got a big journey here, and I think that was what this movie is. This is what you have to realize with this movie. Is there a lot going on? Yes, there is, but the whole point of this film is to take all of the characters that we have seen in all of these movies, put them together for one fun ride, and then you take a majority of them out, because the old guard, the guard that we first really got introduced to in the 2012 movie, whatever it was, that
Movie release dates.
that crew of Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, Hulk. I think
Hawkeye, thank you.
will come back. Cheadle, Rhodey. These are the people that Thor. These are the people that will then. It's going to be their movie in the second one, because this movie is not any of these people's movie. This movie is all Thanos.
I like that you brought that up in our non-spoiler review, that this is really Thanos' story, and let's get into that, because we got the announcement of this. This guy is just here, hell-bent on destruction. And as the movie unfolds, we get to find out that he is clearly an evil bad guy. Like most great villains, he believes what he is doing is right and just, because he sees, the population of any world is just overflowing. You don't have enough natural resources, so his idea is just genocide. Just get rid of everybody, wipe the slate clean, and now look, everybody who survived my wrath now gets to eat and live a benevolent life, which I'm sure they have to serve him in some capacity. Right. One of the things that I had trouble buying into, and I never really got over the hump with this, is there's a great scene. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is when Red Skull comes back.
Oh, right.
And we see Red
Played
Skull.
by Russ Marquand,
Played
by
by me, yes. And talking to Ross at the after party, he was like,
"Oh, I didn't see him. You saw him there?"
Yeah.
Wow.
He was, and he was so excited he could finally talk about this, because that's like a big secret in the movie.
Yeah.
I was so excited when I saw Red Skull come back. I'm like, holy shit!
Yeah.
And I thought it was Hugo Weaving, and then you point out in the credits that it's Ross, and I'm like, oh, cool. That's he did a great job. But the way that scene unplays is that the only way to get this stone is you have to sacrifice something you love, and then Gamora's like, you don't love anything. I never bought that Thanos actually loved Gamora.
Oh, I did.
Really?
Yeah, big time. Especially, I think that's what they set up with that scene with because even when
the adoption
as
scene.
he's killing all her people, he won't let her look at it. It's not like there's no deal with it, because he's harsh on Nebula. He doesn't give a shit about Nebula.
He's hard on a lot of people.
But like, he was always protecting her. He didn't, like, when she goes to kill him again, he doesn't ever. He likes the fact that she's this warrior. He did feel something about her, and he did. And like, I actually the tear alone, because of that whole point of this exterior of this being that just wants to destroy, and ultimately what he wants is his own peace. I mean, the last shot of the movie is him sitting on a farm, just kind of chilling back. And that's from a comic, by the way.
And part of me, like, look, I'm rooting against Thanos. I don't want you guys to think I jumped ship and became Kristian Harloff and root for bad guys all of a sudden. But
I don't root for them.
Part of me was just like, you know what? This guy really worked
He did
worked his
work.
ass off.
And they're like, well, but he cheated. But if they're going to cheat with the time thing, he cheated too because
Doctor Strange cheated in his movie with it.
But let's talk about all this. There's so much. This movie, we could talk about this movie for an hour.
This is what we're doing, yeah.
Now, one of the things we'll jump to right away is that the biggest part of this movie, the big part of this entire film, is that vision when Mantis looks over and goes, "Does your friend normally do this?" And Doctor Strange is flipping out, and he's and he comes back in. He's like, "How many of these the outcomes do we win out of millions?" And he goes, 1.
14 million outcomes.
But because of that one, when Tony says to him, "Why did you do that?" Because Tony, it looked like your prediction came true. I thought, "Oh my God, they're going to kill Iron Man here." And then Strange gives him the time stone, and you're like, "Oh wait, this is that thing that he saw. This is that one outcome that he saw where he has to give him the stone, and he knows he's going to sacrifice himself. Because he knows he dies because he is protecting the stone there. He said that he told Tony that I'll out of everything that I have to do, I'm going to protect the stone first. He's still protecting the stone.
He swore an oath, and I think that the oath that he swore, he has to uphold in a different way than he ever envisioned it. But you're right, when he's seeing all those scenarios and he's flipping out, and I like that, is that if you equate this, which I know a lot of people are, including yourself, to Empire Strikes Back in a way, where the odds of going into an asteroid and surviving that is like 2,000 or something to 1. The odds of this, 14 million to 1, and you see what we're really up against here, and that there's no logical way that you're going to beat Thanos, and we got so close at the end of that scene. And it was another one of the things that I'm still wrestling with emotionally, because we're this close to pulling the glove off of Thanos, right? Spider-Man's using all of his might, Iron Man's using all of his might. Now, part of me is thinking that this is still Thanos toying with them, even though Mantis is messing with his
Star-Lord
with
messed
his
this
mind.
up.
It made me like the character of Star-Lord so much less.
Yeah.
And it actually, this is one of the things in the movie that let me down, is that you pin all of this on that guy, and I just thought it was unfair to pin all of the destructions about to happen.
The chances are Thanos
guy.
probably could have gotten that glove back again.
That's what I'm saying, is that I think that Thanos would have gotten it back somehow, but that might have played out better. I hate that, because Peter Quill, like 2 minutes later,
has a little easy.
He has a joke that he says, he's like, "Wait, did we lose?" And normally that line would play funny, but because we just saw
lost
this guy,
because of you dummy. Right.
I know, but and a lot of people are saying, well, he's just a human, and anybody would react in that situation. Can you wait 5 seconds, dude? This is the fate of the galaxy, and you're upset because your girl died, the same girl that you pulled the trigger on yourself an hour ago.
You also go back to Civil War, because Tony went through a similar moment.
And I had the same problem in that movie as I did with this, that I think Tony could have held it together a little bit more, but I've never seen my parents brutally murdered in front of me, so maybe I would change.
And your girlfriend killed by her father or whatnot. And then that goes to bringing the very end of this movie. I mean, this is what everyone's going to be talking about, is that everyone dies, which we know. They're not dead. And so some people go, well, what are the stakes then? The stakes are, how are they going to be able to rectify and be able to change it, and how are the original Avengers going to be able to set it back? And obviously it has a lot to do with Captain Marvel, something we'll talk about also.
Great post-credit scene.
I think everyone's talking about this, and I don't know if you agree or disagree, but I think that anyone before that snap, dead. So I think Vision's gone, I think Loki is gone, and I think that Gamora are gone. I think that those three are definitely gone. But Black Panther, obviously, because of the second movie, not gone. Spider-Man, not gone.
Did that weigh on you a little bit in the opposite way? Because I know, like I'm sure people are going to have emotional reactions to seeing like T'Challa fade to dust and see Peter Parker fade to dust. But as soon as T'Challa faded to dust, I was like, this takes some of the stakes away. Not in a bad, like, this is a bad movie now way, but just like, as far as me, just being a human watching this, I'm like, oh, it's going to be okay.
Right.
Because they're not killing Black Panther.
Right,
They're
overall.
not killing Peter Parker. They're not doing this.
It's Back to the Future too, is what this
go
is.
to some netherworld, and they're going to come back in some way, and they'll be richer for the experience. The theory that was first posed to me, that I first heard from our bud Danny Fernandez, owner of Molly, was that what if Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, because they survived the dust, are the ones that are going to die?
Oh,
what if they're marked because they survived?
See, it's a mark. See, one of the things, too, if you go back to Ultron, in that scene where Tony Stark sees the demise of everyone. He sees the demise.
I think you were the one that brought that up to me. Yeah, because Ultron, you think, why did they need that in this?
And that's why he sees the death of everyone, although Cap is dead too. I think that Cap, I still believe that Cap's going to be the one that gets taken out at the end of 2, because Cap, for the most part, is in this movie for that round of applause when you first see him, and he doesn't really do much except fight. He fights, and but as far as character arc goes, he's there to save a couple different times. He's there when he has an impact.
He leads.
But And I'm not complaining about this. I actually think that it's necessary to kind of push him back a little bit for this one because he's had his movies to where Civil War and he was forefront. This was really Tony and Doctor Strange and Thanos. They were and Scarlet Witch. I think those were the real main characters of this movie that had the most to do because it was Scarlet Witch is continuously having this loss with her brother and now this android thing that she fell in love with.
That was one of the things that I was like watching this final fight scene. And
Her accent's gone.
I'm watching everybody, led by T'Challa and Captain America and Black Widow, and they're all charging, and the Dora Milaje are there, and they're all fighting. We have the other Wakandan tribes fighting, and we have all M'Baku's there, and we are all playing our ass off, and Scarlet Witch is up there waiting for Shuri to do this. Could Scarlet Witch not have just like come out earlier and just been like?
Well, that's what they said in the movie.
They made the joke about it, but I agree with her. I'm like,
she was with her. She was making sure Vision was okay. I was cool with that, and I thought that actually added to all this because she was there to protect him for the most part.
I get it. And then when Thor. When Thor arrives on
it was Thor's story also actually too. I forgot all about Thor.
Yeah.
Thor's story. I didn't love the Peter Dinklage stuff. I love Peter Dinklage. His voice bugged me. I understand why he was there to do for the forging of the new weapon and to get the scene. I understood. Because I'm going to give a compliment as soon as I finish this thing, because that stuff with his voice, I don't know, it bugged me. And I love Peter Dinklage; he's one of my favorite.
I thought it was cool that he got to be like a huge giant.
Yeah, and I thought that was the nice thing about it. But again, didn't take me out of it.
And I like the mythology of that too. That like this is where this thing was forged.
Yeah. And it gave you some more background behind it. But my favorite part
and it gave
of all
us a chance against Thanos.
But what it gave us was some more interactions between Thor and Rocket because Sweet Rabbit is my favorite line ever. Every time he called him Rabbit, I lost it. I lost it because Thor is, and I'm sorry that I left Thor out as being one of the main characters. Because Thor is becoming, Chris Hemsworth is becoming a comedy pro. See, to me, that's the type of comedy that I love in these movies because Thor has a lot going on. Thor has stuff that he's dealing with Loki. He's got stuff that he's got to deal with his heritage, who he is, this new mission, making sure that he's got to forge his weapon. He's not just there to joke, as where it was like, we need some comedy, but nothing else. Bring in Drax. It's like, that's...
It would have been nice to see Drax. Like Drax gets really hyped up because Thanos killed his people.
Yeah, it's like one moment, and then he gets smacked around.
I'm agreeing with you because he runs up to him. It would have been nice to see him get like a couple more shots in on or something else.
First movie, the first Guardians, they did that so well.
The Thor stuff, like even going back to the first Thor movie, what triggered it for me when I realized that this Hemsworth guy is more than just a hunk is when he walks into the pet store and he demands a horse. It's like this guy, he speaks the same language, but he's just not quite there with everybody else. And they play that so beautifully. Well, the fact they call the rabbit thing back 3 or 4 times.
At least.
And it works every
He says, good luck, morons. I mean, there's so many. Sweet Rabbit is the best.
And the way that Rocket reacts the first time he gets called Rabbit, like Rocket is another one.
But then he just embraces it, though. But Rocket embraces it. See, Rocket to me, again, Rocket is one who's got much more because Rocket tries to have these conversations with Thor. He's like, didn't you have a brother? Yeah, he died. You have this, you have this. And he's like, well, I got nothing for you. But like, he's trying, and like Rocket's lines, Rocket stayed true to his character the entire time. Groot, I thought, did some great things too because when Groot, when he turns to dust, that was a really sad moment, as well as Spider-Man and Groot were the 2 saddest moments. Even though they're coming back,
I was okay with Groot. I was okay with Groot.
The Spider-Man thing had to kick your ass. Come on, he was a scared kid.
Spider-Man wrecked me, but again, I was already like, because I can't remember who fades to dust first, but it was either T'Challa or Spider-Man. And when I saw it, I actually felt relief because I was like, okay, they're not really dead.
Yeah, but again, that character in the moment of that time, unless Tony, if Tony just gives up right then, character is dead. So he's got to go through a mission. That character is going through that emotion and is dying.
And it's going to be Tony.
It's Days of Future Past.
It is. And I think that's one of the many things that's going to spur Tony on in the next movies. He's not just thinking about like he let down Pepper and all of his friends, but also this kid that he was mentoring that he really believed in. I mean, you talk about he knighted him an Avenger. And going back to Groot real quick, I thought that they utilized Groot so well as the angry teenager and not a lot more because Groot has a couple nice moments, but the temptation would be to use this character that everybody beloves and tweets about and gets for Christmas overuse that character, and I think that they
No, they used
held
him
him
well.
at bay
Yeah, I thought so,
very,
too.
very wisely. And I agree with you. The humor was an unexpected highlight of the movie to me because I thought it was going to be a lot darker, and obviously the way it ends up was. But
I
the
am
humor
Steve
to me,
Rogers.
there was
good.
and I even and there's certain comic book moments in here that just really got me in the right place where I felt like I was reading a comic when Thor comes back and he's just beating the fuck out of everybody on Wakanda, and he looks at and Steve Rogers like, you cut your hair, and he's like, oh, I see
You stole my beard.
It was like, hey, I'm happy y'all are back.
It was good to
you know?
move him back. And speaking of Thor, though, when I was nervous when Thor comes back at the end and hits Thanos in the chest with the new weapon, I'm like, that's how we're taking him out. I have flashes of Ultron, how easy Ultron got taken out, and I'm like, oh no, Thanos is gonna go out this easy. I'm like, he just did this whole time thing, and because that was devastating. After Scarlet Witch goes through this emotional breakdown and has to take out Vision, and she does it. She does the sacrifice, takes him out, and then Thanos just gets up, turns time back, kills him like he's nothing, and then Thor comes in, axe through the chest. You're like, it's over, and then he's like, should have gone for the head, and I'm like, what? Boom. And then you're like, what are they going to do here?
The fact that they got you, who is such a, and I say this with all due respect, such a doom and gloom kind of guy when it comes to, you like to see villains achieve a lot in movies, right? And I know that you were probably rooting for Thanos to survive and kill everybody.
I wanted him to survive to get to the next one. Absolutely.
The fact that when Thor's axe or hammer, whatever the hell that thing is, goes into his chest, that you actually bought for a minute,
I was hoping
that he
not.
was going to be taken out, says a lot about the power of this movie.
Definitely did, because I was worried about it. I was like, please don't let this be
Because
the
I
way
was
he gets
like,
out.
oh, good, okay, everybody, go home, we win.
You thought it was over too.
Yeah,
And
man.
I was like, when that happened, I'm like, no. I'm like, you can't. I'm like, what are you going to do in the next movie? He just built this whole thing up, and they take him out that easy just because of the thing that Peter Dinklage made. That's it.
I will
but
say
then he
that-
goes, but that line though, when he goes, you should have went for the head. I went, what? And I'm like, no, wait, what just happened? And he takes off. Oh, and by the way, to throw in one of the comedy bits that I did love is, even though Star-Lord messed up, when he's jumping through the Doctor Strange things and he's like flips Thanos off.
Star-Lord was great. I loved it.
Great.
I just hated that they laid all that on that character.
I get it. But anyway, sorry, go back.
This makes me want to have conversations with people like John Schnapp, and also invest more into the lore of Thanos from the comics, because I think one of the things that I struggle with, that you know, a lot of people are making me kind of rectify in my head, is that Thanos is a lot more complex than I think people, and myself included, gave him credit for, just being this guy that pops up occasionally a post-credit scene where you just think he's this like evil behemoth.
Hate everyone, die.
Yeah,
He's
that
not that at
has
all.
no soul.
Yeah.
He's not a sentinel. You know,
he's got a pure mission that very similar to what Killmonger did. He has a very his mission, he believes to his heart, he's been going through this for years, is true. He's a madman, but he doesn't see himself as a madman.
Do you think Killmonger can feel love?
Yeah, I think that I think Killmonger showed that he loved.
I'm not sure about Thanos yet.
Thanos, I believe, did love Gamora. I believe that he did. I think that was the whole.
he liked her.
No, I think that was the whole reason. Otherwise, he would have killed her a long time ago. But so many cool cameos, so many cool things. Talk
about the end credit scene real quick.
Well, that was where I was going with that. The end credit scene to me is the most relevant end credit scene that they've ever done.
Okay,
I'll tell you why.
You just saw it. You're excited.
No. It's the most relevant because without that scene, you don't understand and anticipate the events of what's going to happen in the 90s for Captain Marvel. It sets up a new movie and a new franchise a lot more for people who saw that movie, Avengers, and didn't know about Captain Marvel. The ending of that scene, after both Colby Smulders goes to dust, and which is a sin, and then Sam Jackson going to dust, and then you see the Captain Marvel thing, and you're like, wait a minute, oh, this is really important, because she is going to be very relevant to the next movie. She sets up.
Yeah, she's what's going to.
Because that movie comes out in
everybody.
March of 2019, and then we get whatever part 2, whatever this movie's going to be, in May. So it's continued to be serialized, but that scene is like, oh, this is to let you know she is so relevant. That movie is so important that you have to see it. It was. Now, I'm not saying it was the best, but it was the most relevant.
Yeah, it's something that actually is a little relevant, more so in retrospect, is that scene that was just played for comedy at the time was Ruffalo on the couch talking about like with a therapist. But now you look at and that is, somebody needs a therapist to be able to conjure the Hulk out of that guy. But I love this post-credit scene.
No, but he was the therapist to Tony Stark.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Right,
Is
right,
that now it's reversed
right,
because
right.
but what like seeing the Captain Marvel logo was so cool, and it was a pager, and it's like, so Tony has a flip phone, you know, Nick Fury has a pager, but it just works. It just works in this universe, and it made me, with all due respect to James Cameron, I need to see Captain Marvel like right now.
Yeah.
You know, Ant-Man and the Wasp I'm excited about. I need to see Captain Marvel right now.
That's my point. Is that that's why that scene is the most relevant, because it was essentially really another scene from the movie. It really was. It's like, as we're going back to Last Jedi.
I see what you're saying.
If you go back to Last Jedi, the broom kid scene could have been a post-credit scene.
This was I would think a lot of people would argue a better version of Broom Kid,
way better
than what we got.
It just happened to be at the very end of the movie.
Yeah. Something else that I liked that you and I both went like, oh shit.
Sweet Rabbit.
Sweet Rabbits might be my favorite thing in the movie. Was during the post, there were two things we really noticed in the credits. One was seeing our boy Ross was in.
That was cool.
Played Red Skull. Awesome reveal, by the way. And then the other one was, usually it says the Avengers will return in this, and it said Thanos will return. I was like, dude, this guy is on the top of the mountain.
I think it proves that Thanos is the star of the film.
Yeah.
And we're not giving enough credit to Josh Brolin himself. Like, Josh Brolin really brought that character to the forefront.
I have a theory about that. I think it was all CGI except for the hands. Those are just Josh Brolin's man hands. Remember that movie when he makes the pies with whatever?
Yeah. I thought about
and
that
he's
movie
just got these hands that just Josh Brolin's hands just go on for days.
So good.
Well endowed human being.
All right, so that's the overall review. It's really a breakdown of the film, the way that they put things together. I think that we definitely had some issues in the film, but I think there's so many.
You talked me out of some of the ones I have. I mean, I'm not all the way off the ledge of some of these.
I think you need to see it again. I think it's very similar to seeing it. Once you see it again, I think maybe some of those problems will go away, or maybe some new ones will arise. I think the same thing with me.
3 main issues. I had the Thanos emotion, feeling love thing, which
I think you can get
you
past
helped
that.
soul me on. The Scarlet Witch thing, like, she wants to be there for Vision. She can help out a little more in the battle, which I'd appreciate. The Star Wars thing is tough for me to get over, but
a harder one.
I'm seeing the movie again. I have tickets to see it with the fans. Might go to that screening that you and I might go to. But the NFL draft is then, so.
All right, so that's it. That's our spoiler review. How about you guys? Let's have a discussion in the comment section here of everything that you want to talk about. That's the beauty of the comment section for a spoiler review, is you're not going to get your comments deleted, because that's what we're encouraging. Tell us your favorite moments from the movie. Tell us some of the things you didn't like from the movie. Let's have a conversation about it. Try to be nice.
I can't wait to. I feel like we're going to be active on these comments a lot. I want to have this conversation with a lot of people. Yeah.
All right.
Go Spurs, go. Champions. They went out like champions.
You still think they should have killed Winter Soldier?
I have.
You're coming back?
No. Winter Soldier. Dude, the guy here.
Not in this movie. You wanted them to kill him at the end of Winter Soldier. You wanted them to kill him.
Yeah.
You still think that should happen?
He's a danger to his own side.
He's not anymore. He's not.
You whisper 3 words in the right order, and all of a sudden he's back to being a double agent.
Jerk. All right, right over there, we got more reviews. We want to watch the non-spoiler if you haven't seen that already. I mean, that's kind of silly.
Would you sell it better than that? We worked hard on it.
Watch the non-spoiler review. And then over there, there's some other reviews. There's a Harloff and Ellis show there, too. And you like this design? Well, good. You can go get one. Just click on that.
Maybe Baby Carrot should come back as Sweet Rabbit.
I want to get a shirt that made Sweet Rabbit.